WNBA and the league have agreed to essentially telling the players to not sign a new deal until this new CBA is finished, which I feel like that's a given. Of course, you shouldn't sign a deal under the old CBA when you're going into this new CBA that is going to raise salary.
Hold up. We need to talk about something nobody wants to say out loud. Unrivaled just crashed and burned in year 2, and the numbers are absolutely brutal. Viewership is down by over 60% while the WNBA is preparing to pay players more than $1 million per season. Yet the league that was supposed to save women's basketball can barely pull 30,000 viewers per game. This harsh reality check is exposing everything wrong with how the sport has been covered. Let me be crystal clear. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. For too long, the media has walked on eggshells around women's basketball, handing out participation trophies instead of honest analysis. But professional athletes deserve real criticism, just like the men, because that's what true equality looks like. That's why a recent Front Office Sports article stirred controversy with the headline, "Unrivaled faces stiff challenges as ratings plunge to start year 2. Not dip, not decline, plunge. The numbers are worse than anyone expected. In year 1, Unrivaled was hyped as a revolution, featuring sold-out crowds of about 870 fans watching full-court 3-on-3 basketball with WNBA-level salaries and premium accommodations. The format felt fresh, the buzz was real, and many believe it could change the game forever. Opening night pulled 310,000 viewers across TNT and True TV. The one-on-one tournament final peaked at 377,000 viewers, and the season averaged roughly 221,000 viewers on TNT, making the collapse in year 2 even more alarming.
You have to be able to call out, okay, the Fever get much higher ratings than the Chicago Sky, or the Fever get much higher ratings than the Connecticut Sun, or they get higher attendance than this. The Golden State Valkyries have higher attendance than the Las Vegas Aces. Like, you need to be able to report things accurately instead of trying to spin a narrative all the time.
Fast forward to year 2, and the numbers tell a brutal story. Opening night pulled just 175,000 viewers across TNT and True TV, while True TV-only games crashed to a shocking 32,000 viewers. That's not a typo. Other nights averaged under 140,000, and some broadcasts dipped near 70,000, a drop of nearly 60% from season 1. Yet leadership keeps pushing the same PR line. Leagues take time to build. And sure, that's true. The NBA took decades, and the WNBA has been grinding for 30 years. But Unrivaled didn't sell patience. They sold superiority. Better pay, better treatment, a better league than the WNBA. Now that ratings are tanking, suddenly it's trust the process. You can't have it both ways. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Without Caitlin Clark, this league was never going to move the needle. She's the reason women's basketball exploded, the reason casual fans tuned in, and when her camp shut down Unrivaled rumors, the writing was on the wall. Meanwhile, the WNBA's new CBA is about to pay players up to $1 million, more than Unrivaled ever promised. So what's the purpose now? If we can't be honest about falling ratings and broken hype, the sport can't grow. Real progress starts with real accountability.
Here's the honest reality, you guys. The WNBA is now going to be paying players a higher salary than what was reported that Unrivaled is paying its players. So yes, they paid them a higher salary for the last season and the season before that. But with this new CBA, if the players agree to the terms, the max contract is going to be over $1 million.
And what happened next? Year 2 ratings collapsed. The league that claimed it would save women's basketball couldn't even hold its opening night audience. The same league that criticized the WNBA is now learning exactly why the WNBA has always been cautious with growth and spending. Breanna Stewart tried to stay positive, saying ratings matter and fans aren't used to watching women's basketball at this time of year. Fair point, but it doesn't explain a 60% drop or games pulling just 32,000 viewers. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Unrivaled was never meant to be a long-term league. It was leverage, a bargaining chip in the WNBA's CBA negotiations. The founders talked up their league, created competition, and forced the WNBA to raise salaries. And it worked. Players are about to get paid more than ever. Mission accomplished. Now the question is simple. Why does Unrivaled still exist if the WNBA pays more and offers stability? Unless something drastically changes, this league either evolves fast or fades into history.
If they wouldn't have built it up and been like, well, the WNBA sucks and everybody there sucks, which I am on their side in a sense that I do think with the WNBA, so much could be better. But anybody who was here thinking that Unrivaled is just going to be this massive thing and it's going to put the WNBA under, like, I've been saying that from the beginning.
Now let's talk about Project B, because if Unrivaled was confusing, this one takes it to another level. Project B just announced a stop in Tokyo in April 2027, which directly overlaps with the WNBA season and training camps, especially with the new CBA pushing for an earlier start. Their tour runs from November through early April, meaning players would finish months of non-stop international basketball, travel across multiple countries, and then be expected to report to WNBA camp just weeks later. If I'm a WNBA general manager, I'm not giving a max contract to anyone doing that, because you're putting massive wear on your body, risking injury, and treating the WNBA like a side hustle instead of priority. Players tied to Project B who should be earning max contracts may now face hesitation from teams that value availability, health, and long-term commitment. This exposes a deeper conflict, because in leagues like the NBA and NFL, players are contractually restricted from playing outside leagues due to insurance, risk, and competitive integrity. But the WNBA historically allowed it since players needed overseas income to survive. That reality is changing fast, with average salaries approaching $500,000 and max deals exceeding $1 million, meaning players no longer need off-season leagues to make a living. So the question becomes, what happens to Unrivaled and Project B now? If the WNBA succeeds and pays players well, these leagues become unnecessary. And if the WNBA struggles, these startups lack the audience and infrastructure to replace it. Meaning the only way they truly survive is if the WNBA fails, which nobody actually wants. The hypocrisy is hard to ignore, because the same players demanding more money, respect, and stability from the WNBA are also creating competing leagues that weaken its authority, something that would never be tolerated in leagues like the NBA. The truth is that building a sustainable professional league takes decades of patience, infrastructure, and loyal fans, not just hype and high salaries. And the WNBA has already survived the hard years and positioned itself for real growth. Startup leagues may grab attention for a moment, but attention fades while stability lasts. And the future of women's basketball isn't in off-season experiments or competing leagues. It's in strengthening the WNBA. Because the ratings, the trends, and the financial direction are all pointing the same way.